I think it's safe to say that social media has become extremely addicting. But why is that? In this video, Willow and I are going to discuss social media and the algorithm and how the algorithm is copying your consciousness. It's kind of like that phrase, does life imitate art or does art imitate life? Well, in my assumption and in my experience, I can see that the algorithm is copying and imitating your reality. So, we're going to talk about how to use social media to benefit you and create the life that you want. And we're also going to talk about how to get rid of unwanted circumstances. And when you understand how the algorithm works with social media, then you'll be able to use this in your practical life. Okay, first off, have you noticed that when you go on these platforms, and I'm not going to name any specific platforms, but when you go on them, it doesn't really matter how you feel about the content. So you could be scrolling through happy content, exciting content, depressing content, content that makes you angry, which they call that rage baiting now. It doesn't really matter what the content is, so long that you're watching the content, which is your awareness. That's your consciousness. All these platforms, all of them, even this video, okay? All of these platforms and all of these algorithms are set up so that you can continue experiencing the platform. And that's how your life works. That's how consciousness works. You create your own reality, which, by the way, hi, if you're new here, my name is brianalowe and this is Athena's channel. We talk about how to turn the mystical into manifestations. You can be, do, or have anything, and your state of being is the only thing that matters, not your circumstances. So your awareness, being the one and only consciousness, is putting energy. Just your simple awareness on something puts energy onto that thing. And again, going back to your emotions, which are energy in motion, but really look at the platforms that you're on. It doesn't matter if the news is depressing or if it's wild, outrageous content or if it makes you cry. It doesn't really matter the emotions that you're feeling. All it matters is that you are watching that content, that information. And the more that you feed into that experience, the more that it has to give you more of the same thing. I know on certain platforms for me right now, I only get certain information. Like I don't get news, I don't get a lot of things. I only get a very small percentage of information because of how the algorithm understands I work. So let's go back and forth between the two, because literally the algorithm is copying your consciousness. It is imitating your life. And the more advanced and evolved the algorithm becomes, the more it'll keep you engaged and just allow you to doom scroll is what they call it right now, but it'll allow you to keep experiencing that. And by the way, for some of you guys already know this, but a couple months back, I was laid off from a job where I was a writer. I was an AI writer, so I have personal experience as to how these algorithms work. The people that are creating these algorithms, these wonderful, brilliant engineers, they already know how your brain works and they already understand how dopamine and all these chemicals are intermixing in your body. So they know you create your own reality. They know how awareness works. And if you have your simple attention on something, it's going to create, because the law of attraction being that what you put your awareness on, that will manifest. They know that's a real thing. Okay. They know how this formula operates. So let me ask you this. When you want to get rid of an unwanted experience on social media, what do you do? Do you like, comment, and share the information? Do you hover over the content and keep watching? Because they can see how much time you spend on something, even if you're hovering over it. Or do you block the content, block the creator, or do you just become simply unbothered and scroll? Because that's how to get rid of unwanted experiences in your real life, in your manifested life, in the physical 3D. When you don't want something in your life, it doesn't matter if you're happy, sad, joyful, all of those things. If you simply take your awareness off of it and put it onto something else that matches the state of being you prefer to be in, that's what we'll create. Not the circumstance, okay? The circumstance is already done, okay? Circumstance is already done. Let the dead bury the dead. This is scripture. I'll leave the scripture of where that's at. But when you let the dead bury the dead and you don't look back like Lot's wife did, okay? That's also another scripture. I will leave all this information. When you become that person that is only focused on what you prefer, then that is only what can manifest by law. By law. There's no exceptions. There's nobody who's better than the law. Everybody has the same capacity and capability and choice through the law of liberty, which states that you have free will. You have the ability to choose what you want to experience. With the law of liberty, you can choose to put your attention on what you want. Now, I really want to say this right now. Your attention is expensive. It is very expensive. And again, the people who create algorithms and these brilliant engineers, they already know this. If they have your attention on a platform, they just want to keep you in that experience. So they will do whatever it takes to keep you in that experience and give you variance. So let's talk about variance. Have you ever gone to a movie theater and just wanted a happy story? You just wanted the happy ending. 9 times out of 10, no. You go to a movie to experience the range, the variance, and the contrast of things going on. So the person, whoever the protagonist is, they are living this life in this movie and they're kind of down in the dumps. And throughout the story, throughout the progression, they blossom, they become something better than what they originally were. And you may not realize this or not, but this is also what happens on social media. When there's variance, when there's content that gives you exciting, joyous, generous information, and then you skip down to another horrific news, very appalling content, that creates variance. And it also creates something in the brain that keeps you scrolling. So going back to your physical reality, if you want to get rid of something that is unpreferred, you have to take your attention away from that, knowing that it's temporary, knowing that this is a lie. The only reason why it's in my experience is because I am putting awareness on it and I'm continuing to create that experience. This is where things like meditation comes in, because when you quiet your mind, you're allowing more space and you're allowing, think of it like a highway, okay? You're allowing the cars to all move out of the way. You're creating no more traffic and you're allowing yourself a very fast track into the thoughts that you actually do prefer. That's what happens when you meditate. You're removing the chaos. You're not letting your thoughts think you, okay? So if you're somebody who feels like you overthink a lot, I would highly recommend meditation because you'll feel more powerful. You'll become the observer again and you won't let the thoughts think you, because you're not your thoughts, by the way. You are the observer of your thoughts and you can give energy to your thoughts. Your awareness gives energy to those thoughts. So if you're someone who wants to get rid of an unwanted experience in your reality, treat it like social media. Treat it like the algorithm and scroll. Because the less awareness you give to it, you are training the algorithm of life to behave in the way that you want it to. When you block the content or you block the creator, you make it very known that you're not willing to tolerate this, then the algorithm gives you less of that. it'll say, okay, got it. We know that you don't want it. But here's a personal example of how that can also backfire, because what you resist persists. I cannot make this up, guys. One time I was on a platform and there was this content creator who kept coming onto my feed. And honestly, it's not like I didn't like the creator. I just kept seeing so much of their content. My awareness was on their content so much that I was like, I don't want to see this anymore. So I blocked them. And then that platform decided to not put the creator on my feed, but put other people that were talking about that creator on my feed. So then I started blocking those creators. And then once that happened, a month later, I went to a weekend-long event and she was in my reality, that creator. So I'm saying all of this to say, what you resist persists. And if you are constantly putting your awareness on something and thinking, oh, I don't want this, oh, I don't want this, oh, I don't want this, the awareness is what's causing it to magnify towards you, to become, you're literally a magnet, okay? You're not the bobby pin. So it's coming towards you. The best way to get rid of an unwanted experience is to move on to something that is more preferred and more attention seeking. And what I mean by that is, let's say the content causes you a lot of anger and it causes you a lot of rage. Maybe looking at content that makes you laugh, maybe seeking out, literally going into the search bar and seeking out funny cats, funny dogs, whatever those memes are. When you actively seek out that information, you're training the algorithm, life's algorithm, on what you prefer. So I hope that this has been helpful. Let me know how you like to use social media. And I am so excited to announce, without further ado, that I have a team now of amazing people that are helping me with mentorship. I will be doing a private coaching session. It's one-on-one, and it's going to be a 4 to 6 week transformation, depending on what you want. There's more information down below. I know that you guys have been asking about coaching lately. I have opened it back up, and I'm really excited to see how we can transform and evolve. Let me know in the comments down below if you believe that life imitates art or art imitates life. I'll see you guys there. Love you guys so much. Bye.